Hello everybody, this week's exciting instalment is replacing the rear spheres on my Citroen DS Super. Now I'll flip around. As you can see, I've already done the front spheres on here. Spheres, boules, balls, whatever you want to call them. After I did the front ones, I called them bastards, and that might seem a bit strong, but I tried my hands. Absolutely no use getting them off whatsoever. Well, they only ever fitted hand tight. I then tried a strap wrench, utterly useless. The front ones eventually gave up with the use of a chain wrench. But on this side here, you can see this extension piece, and that came away with the cylinder. Not so bad, I thought, but it took two blokes with two massive Stilson wrenches to separate the sphere from this extension piece. Now this extension piece is only on this side here to clear the steering rack, but nevertheless a pain in the backside. So I've done the two front ones, and I've done the accumulator sphere buried down the far side of the engine there, but I expect the back ones to give up more of a fight, so I've invested in this bad boy. Advertised as a sphere removal tool, but in practice it's a massive wrench for getting off things like oil filters on trucks and agricultural equipment. So we will have a go at that. One thing to note is these are the two-piece spheres which are fitted to these originally. You can see the big join there. What was on here were welded spheres, this style here, and these were working fine. But one thing I noticed, people talk about the lifetime of spheres. I've got the engine running to get the car up to temperature. Don't know whether it's going to come on like this, show this, but these are ones that came off, and they've got a date stamp on here of the 22nd of December 2006. This car went off the road in about 2017 for 5 years or so, and then I changed these spheres last year. So these spheres, which were still had plenty of bounce on them, were 17 years old. People go, oh, the last 4 or 5 years, 6, 7 years. I think a lot depends on how the car is used and how often it's driven. So I kept these because I'm going to use these to keep the car up off the road when I take off the rear spheres to send them off to be refurbished. These front ones were refurbished by Pleiades, and I got them from a guy called Keith. Thank you very much, Keith, who was a small lad in the Citroen magazine. He was very generous in not only letting me have these two-part spheres, which are coming quite rare now, but take them across to Pleiades for refurbishment. So thank you, Keith, you know who you are. I decided to put the two-part ones on just because the rears were two-part, and originally it would have had two-part spheres on. In practice, how much difference the two-part spheres make compared to welded ones, I'm not really sure, but they look good and they work, so that's the main things. So I'm going to go across now to the back of the car, and let's see how we go with these. Okay, so I've got the pressure relief valve open on the accumulator, the regulator, which is important, otherwise you'll have LHM squirting out everywhere should these things come off. And let's see about getting these off. I doubt these are going to shift by hand at all, but we'll give it a go. And then I don't think there's space for a chain wrench or a strap wrench around these, so perhaps a strap wrench will fit, but let's try it by hand first of all. are not going to shift. I think I might be going straight in with the big guns. Oops. I can see a problem here. That way around. Okay. First lesson, I am going to need to take this rear wheel off. I thought I could do it without it, but that is not going to happen very easily. Right. Oh, marvellous. Okay. Back in the room, as they say. Let me see if I can get this positioned. Let's see if we can get any joy with this. A little bit further. Right. Tray to catch the drips. Oh, that was easy. Surely not. Oh, yep. Okay. I'll get this off. Oh, well, plus a top vote for that tool. There comes the LHM. Nice. There should be a seal in here. Looks a little bit mucky in there. Clean his face up. Look. Well, I'd call that a great success. Well, let's get that seal out. There we go. Oops. Still fluid coming out there. LHM is very good for getting oily muck off your car, by the way. I think it's that principle of if you've got thick greasy oil on something, use thinner oil to get it off. That's cleaned up quite nicely. Right, well, a resounding endorsement for that thing. Mine was a little bit tricky to get over the sphere because I've got a bracket here for the tow bar on, but which would have made almost anything else impossible, but that's squeezed in very nicely, straight off. Lovely job, and we'll get a replacement one on to keep the car propped up. Okay, new sphere, or old sphere. I've got a new-ish seal here. Just give this a quick clean up. Put the seal into the cylinder rather than on the sphere. Make sure it's seated properly. If you put it on the sphere, when you're screwing in, apparently it's very easy for it to distort. So that goes on there like that. Nice. Clean the grease off this thing, get a load of it. Put my gloves on, give it a final little twist. Bit better grip. There we are. Now these are obviously front spheres going onto the back, which is not what you should do. Different pressures, but it'll keep the car off the ground while I get the rear ones refurbished. And I suspect the pressure has dropped in these quite a bit over the years since they were put on. 2006, or made in 2006 rather. So I don't intend to drive it, but I don't think it'll be too bad if I need to shuffle it about a bit. There we go, job done. So great tool this. I think I got this one from Citroen Classics, but I suspect if you just search for a large filter remover for oil filter remover for trucks and stuff, no maker's mark on this. The code is GW2322W. And it is 120 to 140 millimeters in size. So 120 to 140 millimeters in size. I think that's the key dimension. So I'll get this lot back up and I'll go and do the other side. Thank you very much.